is Tesla a good stock for Iron Condors? So let's take a look here. I'm at Thinkorswim, and we're going to take a look at Tesla. And first off, the answer for these questions, does stock XYZ, stock ABC work for an Iron Condor? And the situation usually is it depends, right? Because it depends on the setup. It depends on what the market's doing, what the volatility conditions are. So there's a lot of it depends. So for instance, with Tesla, here's a period where it was at 488 looks like the high, and then a few months later it was down to below 250. This probably wasn't the best period for an Iron Condor, right? Too much volatility. Maybe you could have caught some moves that stayed within a range, but generally speaking, you're looking at, you want more of a trending sideways period. Not always. There are ways to set your condors to bet something might be going in a certain direction and skew your trades towards one direction or the other. But normally I like to set an Iron Condor where it's relatively even around where the stock is. And even this situation here might have been challenging. You had one really big bar, although it was pretty range bound. But so lately here I'm looking at Tesla, and this looks like a better period for Condor. So again, it really depends. There are some periods here looks pretty good, some periods here maybe not so good. So you want to see what's going on in the environment. You want to see if there's news, what events are happening, things like that, right? But generally speaking, for Condors, you want something that's volatile but not too volatile. Now, Tesla has often had periods where it's too volatile, but I think lately it's been more of a stock, or lately it's gone through periods here where there are chunks of time that it is less volatile. And in that case, I think it can be a good Iron Condor stock. So it's always good with any of these stocks to look at a Bollinger Band. Doesn't really matter what time frame you use, although I like to use 50-day moving averages. And I like to do 2 standard deviation range, because for me, that tends to be a pretty good signal that mean reversion is going to happen. And so if you find something more towards the middle, then that might be a good period to set up an Iron Condor. Or maybe the other way around. Maybe you find something near closer to the top, and then an Iron Condor is selling a call spread and selling a put spread. So if you do something around here, you might sell a call spread a little bit closer, put spread a little bit further away. Whereas if it's somewhere here around the 50-day moving average, you can kind of do it equally. So here we go, stocks around 315. Let's just take a look at what a Condor might look like. Once again, I'm here, Thinkorswim, looking at stocks 316. So let's look out, let's say 14 days, close to that. So here's 18 days. That's not bad. Something around those. So you could do whatever time frame you want. 2 to 3 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks tends to be my sweet spot. But again, it's all dependent on what you're looking for and how the trade sets up, things like that. But I think this is a pretty good, roughly close to a couple week period is a pretty good starting point. So stocks at 317. So a lot of times I like to look at what's close to the 15 delta. So maybe the 280. So maybe the put spread, we do the 280, 275. Let's do that here. All I have to do is first, let me move things around. 280, 275. Now let's look at the same thing. Let's go up to the call side. Looks like 370, 375. Now this defaults to 10 lots, but you can easily do 1 lot. And all you need to do is have enough money to cover your max loss, which is, what did I say, 370, 375. So all you need to do is cover your max loss, which is the difference between the call, the long and the short on either side. You can only lose on one side, so that's $500 minus what you get for credit. So your max risk here is about 380 on a 1 lot. Not bad. And you'd make 122%. $101.22 or $122 for a 1 lot. What I like to look at is a cash on cash return of over 20%. 122 into 500 is over 20% pretty easily. So it's closer, it's not 25%, but it's definitely well over 20%. So to me, this fits. And the only question is, all right, the return, cash on cash return looks good. It looks like, volatility level is reasonable. And the last thing you can maybe take a look at is your risk profile. Hey, this is this has got a sweet spot here. pretty wide sweet spot, and you can see your max risk here. Again, this is showing it for a 10 lot, but you can easily do a 1 lot. So nice wide sweet spot here. To me, this looks like a solid trade. Now, again, you want to test this every time and to go through these steps because situations change. So just make sure that whenever you're analyzing a stock, you're always looking at the different variables and don't just rely on one. So that is a answer to the question, is Tesla a good Iron Condor stock? Catch me again in the next episode, and I will see you soon.
Everything discussed here is our opinion, and it is not to be taken as investment advice because we are not your financial advisor, nor have we considered your personal situation as your fiduciary. This presentation is for your education and entertainment only. Please review NetPicks' full risk disclaimer and privacy policy.